Hi guys, it is Sunday morning. It's the 11th of December and I am cycling to work today. It is freezing cold this morning. Yeah, and I'm just losing my breath a little bit. It's so cold. My eyes are actually watering. I look like I'm streaming with tears. I mean, technically I am, but it's just the cold. It's making my eyes leak. It's fairly nice and light now. And there's a bit of a breeze in the air, but not much at the moment, as you can see. I'm cycling down Westmoreland Avenue. I'm just going to head on to Whitegate Drive, and I will try and take you folks on a bit of a different route this morning, just to give you guys a bit of variety. So let's go. Oh my gosh, my ears are cold. Let me just see if I can pull my hat a little bit more over my ears. This next week will be my last week at work till the new year, because we get 2 weeks off at Christmas. So my last week at work will be this next Sunday, the 18th of December. Then I have my 2 weeks Christmas off, and after that I've booked a week off using my annual leave. So I actually won't be going back till the 8th or 9th of January. So I'll be getting a bit of a much needed, well-earned rest. I'm just going to turn around here. I meant just to turn down there, down Woodland, but no worries, I'll just get across here. I'm going to go down Woodland Grove. Just going to try and take you folks on a bit of a different route so you don't see the same places all the time. Yeah, I booked the first week in January off because it's my son's birthday on the 7th of January, and to be honest I'm kind of dreading that. It'll be his first birthday that I have to have without him actually here. And it's also my brother's birthday, because my brother had the same birthday as my son, and he also passed from cancer a few years ago. It kind of runs in our family. He had a brain cancer. So yeah, the 7th of January will not be a happy day for me this year. So I thought I'm going to book that first week off work, then I don't have to worry about how I'll cope being there. So anyway, back to this morning. As you can see, I'm going down Woodland Grove, and I think I'm going to cycle through Stanley Park. You know, how about a cycle through the park today? And I promise I won't cycle through the park and make a bad joke like, oh, it's a bit parky, isn't it, this morning? So yeah, it's very quiet on the streets, although I'm not surprised. Everybody was probably watching the football last night, and if, just in case you've been living under a rock, England lost. I don't actually watch the football. I have pretty much zero interest. But it came up on my Twitter this morning. So yeah, I suspect that most people who were watching it last night possibly had a beer or two, so they'll be sleeping off their disappointment beers this morning. But you know, worse things happen at sea. It is what it is. It's only a game at the end of the day. So, kind of whatever. Anyway, let's go through this lovely park. Isn't it nice to cycle through Stanley Park on an early morning? The grounds are tad icy through here. Don't know if you can hear it on the wheels of my bike, but I can definitely hear myself cycling twice. So I've taken it a little bit on the slow side, you know, because I don't have to not slip and fall off my bike. But yeah, Stanley Park cycle this morning on the way to work, everybody. I've not been down here for a while. It's a bit of a kind of a sad road for me this, because this is the road I used to take when I used to take my son to the hospital for his chemo appointments. I'd go down Woodland Grove and cycle around here and walking through the park, and my gosh, it's icy. You can probably see it on the ground. Be super duper careful. And I do apologise for sniffling. I'm kind of very sniffy this morning. I have tested for you know what, so I know I'm fine. It's just your normal kind of winter runny nose. So we're going to go down here. As you can see, the lake's closed off again, but we can still cycle around it and look at it, and it's freezing. I know I'm going to be saying that a lot, but holy wow, it's freezing. So cold. I remember one year, maybe about 10 years ago now, the lake froze solid. I could have my years out, I forget how many years ago things happened. But one year, the lake literally froze solid, and I was walking through the park and I saw a gang of kids, and they weren't little kids, they were high school kids. They had high school uniform on, they were from Montgomery, because I could tell from the uniforms, and they all looked 15 to 16, and they were, not only were they playing on the ice of the frozen lake, they had BMX bikes, and you know those little teeny portable, I don't know what you call them, like little tiny slopes what you cycle over quickly and jump over, like little ramps, that's the word I'm looking for, ramps. They had those little ramps, and they were literally cycling along the lake and jumping over these ramps and skidding, and to be quite honest, it absolutely scared me to death. And I'm not one of these people who complains about kids when kids are just being kids, you know. As long as there's no harm being done or no danger, I'm just like, yeah, you let kids be kids, you're only young ones, right? But what I saw scared me so much that I phoned the local police. Obviously I didn't call 999, but I phoned the local police station and explained to them, and they said I'd done the right thing by phoning. They sent somebody down to have a word with these lads. But the next day I also phoned the school up, and I went, I have no names, and I wouldn't mention names even if I had names, because I'm not looking to get anyone individually in trouble, but at the same time I'd rather get a kid in trouble than read in the paper that a kid's fallen through the ice at Stanley Park and drowned, you know what I mean? And so please be aware that your pupils are doing this, and it's extraordinarily dangerous. But yeah, and I never saw them again. But yeah, that really scared me, watching people playing on the ice. Because I used to teach water safety and going to schools, and that is one of the very first things you teach the very youngest primary school kids. Like, don't play, no matter how much fun it looks, don't play on a frozen lake or anything like that. So that, and just like that, we are at the end of the park. I hope the gate's open, because if it's not, I'm going to have to cycle back, and that's going to be make me late for work. Oh, we've got this little uphilly bit now. Yes, the gate's open, that's fine. And that brings us, as you can see, right outside the hospital. So if you do have to walk to the hospital, it is a handy route to take the route across through the park. But now I am continuing on down to Bispam, my place of work. I always get these streets mixed up. I think we're on North Park Drive now. I always get South Park Drive, North Park Drive and West Park Drive mixed up. This one I'm pretty sure is North Park Drive, because we're heading north. You can hear how out of breath I'm getting. I'm so unfit just lately, folks. Not even funny. I've got a sniffly nose, tired, achy old lady knees, and I'm unfit. It's just, I'm going to stand up in my bike and get up this little hilly bit as fast as I can. No matter where you cycle, on the prom or on Devonshire Road or whatever down here, you can't escape how hilly it gets when you're going towards Bispham. And I'm fully aware that it's not really hilly at all. I mean, I know what hilly lifts is. I spent my childhood years living in Nelson, close to Pendle Hill, and we'd go for walks up and around Pendle as little kids. There was a little stream that we used to play in, and there was a little shop that sold souvenirs, and we used to call it the witch shop because they had 2 life-size witch models outside. So yeah, whilst I was actually born in Blackpool, my dad and my grandma on his side and granddad, they're from Pendle. My dad used to live, I think, in Barley, little village at the bottom of Pendle Hill. See that? Come on, hurry up. Past you go. There you go. Now, I think we're going on to St Walburgis Road. We've just crossed Newton Drive and we're on St Walburgis Road now. Yeah, this is just pretty much a straight cycle now until I get to work. But seeing as I've filmed myself cycling down Park Road, Devonshire Road, Whitegate Drive so many times, I wanted to get something different today, you know, for you guys on video. Hence cycling back way, because I've been down the prom more than once. Look how quiet the streets are. I think my theory is correct. Everybody's sleeping off the disappointment. So whilst I'm not into football remotely, I know some of you guys may be, most of you probably aren't, but if you're into football, who do you want to win the World Cup now? Who's left? France is left. And is it France, Argentina, Morocco and Croatia, I think. And in typical British fashion, I'll answer the question as I think most British people would answer it. I don't care who wins as long as it's not France or Argentina. Then somebody will say, well, if France and Argentina are in the final, who do you want to win? And they go, ugh, neither. But I'd rather Argentina lost, because that is probably how most of the UK feels. They still haven't forgiven Maradona for that famous, was it hand-off God goal, what he did, when he clearly punched the ball into the net. Because back then, I was into football, and I'd passionately watched that World Cup, and it was so exciting. 1986, wasn't it? And I remember just seeing that happen and being outraged at the injustice of it all. Imagine if that happened today, that exact same thing. Imagine straight away all the memes trending on Twitter. Because there were pictures in this newspaper, weren't they, of Maradona literally punching the ball into the net. And I think in an interview he admitted he'd punched it into the net. He said something like, yeah, it wasn't the hand of God, it was the hand of Diego Maradona. And they always felt outraged that justice was never done. They just got to keep the World Cup. I mean, normally, if somebody's found to be cheated, they can be retroactively kicked out of the competition. Like if after, say, an Olympic final for 100 metres, for example, if they tested everybody and found out that the first place winner had tested positive for a banned substance, they would take the medal back, wouldn't they? They wouldn't just be like, yeah, you're a cheat, but you've already won, so we'll let it slide. They'd take the medal back. So I don't understand football when people are found to be cheating, actively found to be cheating, and there's basically no consequences. I mean, I think people can get fined and stuff, a few £1,000s, I don't know how it works, but if you're a multimillionaire and you or your club gets fined a few £1,000s, it's not a real consequence, is it? But anyhow, just to reiterate, whilst I am not into football remotely, I am rooting for either Croatia or Morocco to win. So anybody who isn't fans of Argentina. And that is because I'm English and that's how we roll. I mean, I'm saying that, I'm half joking just in case you can't tell. I'm not entirely serious, I don't care that much. You know, most people aren't inherently impatient, but some things kind of grind your gears. For me, it's waiting over long at traffic lights, and I don't even drive, I cycle, as you know, but I hate waiting for ages at traffic lights. I'll just turn onto Plymouth Road now. Yeah, I hate waiting at traffic lights when nothing's coming the other way. I mean, sometimes I'll get off my bike and just walk across the road. But other things that grind my patience gears are when you go to a shop like Lidl's, for instance, and there is clearly a packing bench, a long packing bench at the end, and you bought a lot of stuff. Instead of just loading your stuff quickly back into the trolley so you can take it onto the packing bench and pack it as slowly and carefully as you want, some people, they pack every single item slowly at the checkout, and I'm like, dude, take it to the packing bench, for crying out loud. That's what it's there for. And then there's those folks that talk and talk at the checkouts. See, look, there's nobody there now. I could just cycle across there and there's nothing coming. We go, we're hungry. Yeah, people are just talk and talk, especially if they're friends with the cashier. I mean, all I want to do is buy my sachets of coffee and my jam, and I've got somebody and I'm like, oh, hello Elsie, I've not seen you for ages. I know, right, we'll really have to just plan something. Oh, how's little Jessica? Oh, she's 5 now. Is she 5 already? Oh my goodness, doesn't time pass? Where are you going on holiday next year? Oh, I'm not sure. And I'm just watching, thinking, go away. And I'm fully aware of what a terrible person I sound like here. But here's the thing, if somebody is genuinely struggling, I feel zero annoyance and I'm in the wrong lane. So I'm going to move over. Oh, I'm in the turn left lane. I did look behind me and I did signal. Oh, I hate, even though all the lights are green, I hate those big roads. Yeah, if somebody's in genuine need, like if somebody's just got some kind of impairment, or they're really old, or they're just doing their best but they're slow, I'll wait all the time in the world, because you know, you do you, take your time, and don't feel bad about taking your time. It's just deliberate time wasters that annoy me, like inconsiderate and entitled. Well, at least I feel less cold now. I'm still cold, but I think my body's just acclimatised. Thing is, I'll get over the hill and I'll get to work, then I'll walk into the centre and it'll be so hot I'll feel like passing out, because I've got my hat on, I've got my gigantic crocheted scarf on, what I crocheted a few years ago. It's super duper long and super duper warm, and it's an absolute lifesaver. I think that I'm going to have to make myself some kind of snood thingy, because yeah, that'll be nice and comfy. I'm very happy about the lack of ice today. It was icy through the park and it was icy up at my end, but my street seems to just gather ice. It's really weird. Specifically my side of the street, it just must be geographically the way the houses are placed, because the other side of the street, just across the road, barely gets any ice, but my house gets ice outside it. And it's not even my block, it's just my house and my neighbour's house. The pavement will be super icy and there won't be ice anywhere else. I mean, I'll probably show it you if I can at some point. It's fairly weird. This is a nice different cycle, isn't it? Just going down a different neck of the woods, so to speak. Going past now the site where it used to be Bispam High School. Before that it was Greenland's High School, and I think before that it was Arnold Girls. I think that's what it was. But feel free to correct me on that if I'm wrong. It's like Bispam High School, when they pulled it down, it wasn't that old, you know, because it was quite a new build. My daughter started school there and it was quite a new building when she started, and they had a lot of valuable state-of-the-art stuff in there. Just going past now, Bibby's Road. I did fairly recently film that along with Calmore, oops, green. I nearly stopped then, along with Calmore Avenue when it was on my Streets of Blackpool series. Going past the squirrel. And just like that, I am almost at work. Hopefully I'm not late. I haven't checked my clock. Or should I say watch? I have a Fitbit actually, so none of this is true. I have a wall clock at home. And fun fact, I actually only moved the time yesterday, because when the clocks changed in October, I didn't bother putting the clock back. I only actually did it a couple of days ago, because it's high on the wall, so I've got to get a step ladder, climb up the step ladder, and then it's awkward to hang back up after you've changed it. And every time I do that, every year, because I've had this wall clock years, and it was just like a cheap thing from Wilco's, and I always think, do people have wall clocks anymore? If you're still with me and listening to me, well, thank you, but if you are still here, just let me know. Do people generally still have wall clocks? Because people have told me that you don't have a clock on your wall, do you? That's really weird. That's like wearing a wristwatch, and I'm like, I totally have a wristwatch. Well, like I said, it's a Fitbit, but if I didn't have a Fitbit, I would wear a wristwatch, because I don't always take a phone out with me. I always try to remember to take the phone out with me, and I'm better at remembering it now. I've got Strava, that motivates me to remember, but apart from that, I'm not that arsed about mobile phone. I have my stupid work on it where you're going to log in and log out. But loads of people don't even bother with that, so if left across here. Nice and quiet road, signal, and turn, and here I am at work. So I shall end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my gosh, I'm out of breath. Please hit the like button. I deserve a like after that long breathless cycle. Well, I think I do anyway. And I shall see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.